Have you ever looked at one of those really grand, inspiring projects, heard all the, amazing promises, and then just found yourself wondering, is this actually going to make a difference, or is it maybe just, well, a clever performance? Today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that question, but we're doing it through the lens of something pretty surprising, actually, and genuinely hilarious. It's a piece of satire.
Yeah, it's a comedic skit called The Invisible School, a fundraising fantasy.
Right.
And it's like brilliantly sharp. It really zeroes in on how easy it can be sometimes for certain individuals to exploit community trust, all under the guise of some noble cause.
Okay, so for this deep dive, what sources are we working with?
Well, we pulled together actual excerpts from the skit itself, which is great. And alongside that, we have some detailed timelines that were put together based on the skit's narrative, character analyses, and sort of deconstructions of the whole thing. And our mission today, it's really to give you a kind of shortcut, a way to understand the common red flags in fundraising just by looking at this satire.
Exactly. Our goal isn't just to, laugh along, although you probably will.
Oh, definitely.
It's really to unpack the satirical piece for the, I guess, valuable insights it offers, almost like a quick guide on how to spot what they call a donation pipeline out there in the real world.
Right. So what does this mean for you, maybe as someone trying to be a discerning donor or just an involved community member? Let's unpack it.
Okay, let's do it. So the skit introduces us to this character, Dr. Umoja. How is he presented?
He's very charismatic, booming voice, big personality, and he has this unbelievably grand vision for something he calls the Pan-African Intergalactic Academy.
Intergalactic, wow.
Oh, yeah. He's the head of an organization called the Fantasy Development Movement of Greatness, FDMG.
FDMG.
But the narrator in the skit, who's this sort of sarcastic, all-knowing guy through this whole fantasy, immediately reinterprets that acronym for us. FDMG. Funds disappear, money gone.
Ouch. Okay, sets the tone right away.
Absolutely. And from the jump, you get this sense of the scale of the fantasy and just the immediate absurdity of it all.
So what's the actual academy like?
Well, physically, it's an abandoned post office.
An abandoned post office, seriously.
Seriously. And yet, Dr. Umoja is standing there right in front of this totally dilapidated structure, making his first big bombastic appeal. He cries out that they just need $2 million more.
For what? The whole building?
To fix the front doorknob.
The doorknob, while the rest is falling apart.
Exactly. It's just absurdly funny, isn't it? But it makes a point.
It really does. That contrast is stark.
It is. And that absurdity is key. It immediately signals that huge disconnect between the grand promises and the, frankly, pathetic reality. That's like a core characteristic of these fundraising fantasies.
Okay, so who else is involved? You mentioned a narrator.
Right. So to help us sort of navigate this world, the skit has a few key players. First, there's Brother Receipts.
Love the name.
Perfect, right. He's the voice of skepticism, always asking those practical, pointed questions nobody else wants to ask.
Okay.
Then you have Sister Donashona. She's the loyal follower,
Yep.
She represents that unquestioning community trust that, unfortunately, can sometimes be exploited.
Trusting soul.
Exactly. And then, maybe my favorite character.
Yeah.
Kid Genius, a super precocious 12-year-old who has this surprising financial acumen. Seems to know more about IRS filings than Dr. Umoja himself.
Huh. That's brilliant. A 12-year-old asking the tough questions.
Yeah, truly a standout. And finally, as we mentioned, the narrator, kind of omnipresent, dropping sarcastic comments, guiding us, and delivering those ultimate punchlines.
Okay, so we've got the players. We've seen the ridiculous setup. Let's start dissecting Dr. Umoja's playbook here. What's the first big red flag the skit really highlights about how these, fundraising fantasies often begin?
Right. Let's call this phase 1, the illusion of foundation and early dismissals. Or maybe just the grand illusion. So Brother Receipts, living up to his name, immediately points out the obvious physical problems with this so-called school. He's squinting at the building and he just states, this building ain't got no windows or floors or accreditation.
Yeah.
Just the basics.
Just the essentials for a school, yeah. And how does Dr. Umoja respond to that? Does he address it?
Not at all. His response is a perfect example of just distracting with bombast and complete nonsense. He totally ignores the valid points, no windows, no floors, and just confidently booms. We got HVAC.
HVAC, in a building with no windows or floors.
Exactly. And then he adds, historic, very African, very cold.
Very Why cold? What does that even mean?
Who knows? It's pure nonsensical deflection, but it's delivered with such conviction. You can almost see how some people might just get swept up in the performance and ignore the lack of substance.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? How quickly can those initial obvious red flags be just dismissed when you've got a really charismatic figure leading the charge? What is it about charisma?
That's really the core psychological trick, isn't it? The performance, the sheer conviction, it can often override basic logic for a lot of people. It kind of bypasses our critical thinking and taps into that desire we all have to believe in something big, something transformational.
Right.
So this scene immediately gives us a vital nugget of knowledge. Grandiosity without any grounding is a major red flag. If the vision seems to just completely defy physical reality, well, it probably does.
And it's clearly not just a one-off pitch. This has been going on a while.
Oh, yeah. This isn't a one-time thing. It's a long con. Which brings us nicely to phase 2, financial mismanagement and evasion. The narrator drops this detail. This whole fantasy has apparently been ongoing for 12 years and 14 GoFundMes.
12 years. Wow. That's quite a long time for a school that still looks like an abandoned building. So after 12 years and 14 fundraisers, how does Dr. Umoja handle the finances? Or maybe more accurately, how does he account for them?
Well, that's where he introduces his infamous new accounting system.
Okay, what is it? QuickBooks, spreadsheets.
It turns out to be literally a shoebox.
The shoebox. No.
Yes. He holds it up proudly and declares it transparent. You can see the funds if you believe hard enough.
Slight chuckle. Okay, that's bold.
It really highlights another crucial red flag, doesn't it? We can call this the trust me tactic. Any refusal to provide clear, verifiable financial records, especially after years of fundraising, should set off immediate alarm bells.
Yeah, that's just a textbook example of avoiding any kind of accountability.
Precisely. And that's exactly when Brother Receipts, ever the persistent one, steps in again. He just asks simply, I just want to see a budget.
A reasonable request after 12 years? What happens?
Dr. Umoja's reaction is pure deflection and grandstanding. He actually grabs a megaphone, apparently, and shouts, "That's a government question. We don't answer to Babylon."
Wow. Framing a basic financial question as some kind of oppressive attack.
Classic deflection strategy. It's designed to make you feel like you're somehow betraying the cause or siding with the enemy if you dare ask for simple details.
But then, didn't you say Kid Genius gets involved here?
Yes. This is where the 12-year-old drops the real bombshell. Kid Genius pipes up with the critical question. You got 501c3 status.
Ooh. And Umoja's reaction.
The skit describes him actually starting to sweat, visibly rattled.
Okay, so for listeners, let's quickly break that down. 501c3. Why is that question, especially coming from a kid, so devastatingly important for figuring out if a charity is legit?
It's absolutely crucial because 501c status is basically the IRS saying, okay, yes, this is a legitimate public charity or private foundation. It's not just some personal project or worse, a personal piggy bank.
Right. It means oversight.
Exactly. For you, the donor, it usually means your donation is tax deductible. But more importantly for them, it means they have to be transparent. They have strict rules about financial reporting, about their activities, about operating for public benefit, not private profit. They have to open their books.
So without that status,
it's basically a free-for-all. There's very little mandatory accountability, and your money is definitely at risk of not being used for its stated purpose. So the nugget here for everyone listening is always ask about 501c3. It's your first, easiest check for basic accountability.
Such a simple question, but it cuts right through the noise. Okay, so the finances are murky, the building's imaginary. What about the actual education? What are they supposedly teaching?
Well, that brings us to phase 3, the imaginary curriculum and exposed lies. Let's call this the metaphysical money pit.
Okay.
So when Sister Donosona, bless her heart, asks where her kids sign up for classes, Dr. Umoja reveals the school's curriculum. It's spiritual homeschooling.
Spiritual homeschooling? What does that involve?
According to Dr. Umoja, the lessons come in dreams. Just sleep and believe.
Sleep and believe. That's the curriculum.
That's it. And Brother Receipts, again, just nails it. He asks, so it's imaginary school for imaginary progress.
Perfect summary. And Umoja's response?
Just big deflection again. It's metaphysical.
Of course it is.
You see how this completely abstract curriculum perfectly mirrors the total lack of any physical school, right? It just reinforces this illusion of progress without any tangible results, any deliverables. It's another huge red flag. When the program itself becomes totally unquantifiable or purely abstract, that's a major warning sign.
And meanwhile, the money situation gets even weirder, I bet.
Yeah. The financial discrepancies just keep piling up. So remember, this is after supposedly raising $800,000 over the years.
Right.
Dr. Umoja is back, bold as ever, now asking for another $850,000.
Good grief. What does he claim the first $800,000 was spent on? The doorknob.
Apparently, it went towards incense and a lion statue and fly to Ghana for ancestral research.
Incense, a statue, and a trip to Ghana.
Okay, but guess who pops up again to puncture that balloon?
Let me guess. Kid Genius.
You got it. Kid Genius calmly points out he live-streamed from a resort in Miami.
Busted. Livestream from Miami, not Ghana. So how does Umoja possibly wriggle out of that one?
This is where he pulls out the ultimate gaslighting tactic. He just looks completely unfazed and confidently asserts Miami was originally a Yoruba village.
No, he didn't. That moment is gold. Pure gold.
It's incredible, isn't it?
So, okay, let's pause there. What's the takeaway here for you listening to this? When you encounter these kinds of really flimsy, easily disproven justifications for spending, and especially the use of gaslighting, that manipulative tactic where someone tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity, what should immediately flash in your mind?
It immediately tells you you're dealing with someone who prioritizes their own narrative and image way above truth or integrity. The nugget, I think, is specific, questionable expenses followed by utterly ludicrous justifications are bright, flashing red flags. Con artists, or people acting like them, will often use these grandiose, maybe culturally significant sounding, but totally false justifications for their personal spending.
Like the ancestral research.
Exactly. The ancestral research in Ghana turning into a Miami resort trip, and then when called out, that ridiculous Yoruba village claim. It's just a masterclass in deflection. It's designed to make you question your own common sense, to doubt the undeniable facts right in front of your face.
Okay, so the lies are exposed, the finances are a mess, the school is imaginary. Where does the skit leave us? What's the final point?
Well, that brings us to phase 4. The core critique the donation pipeline exposed. The narrator's final commentary really drives home the sad reality. Despite all the years, all the GoFundMes, all the promises, the Pan-African Intergalactic Academy remains spiritually open, yes.
Spiritually open.
But physically, it's still just a haunted post office.
Right, no actual progress.
None. And Dr. Umoja, he's still there, just perpetuating the same cycle, promising that with just one more donation, the children will finally rise.
Always one more donation away.
Always. But then the narrator delivers that ultimate, devastating punchline, just cutting through all the pretense, or at least his hotel points will.
Oof, that hits hard.
It really does. And that's the absolute heart of the satire, isn't it? The skit's core message is just so powerfully captured in the promo flyer's tagline they mention. He didn't build a school, he built a donation pipeline.
A donation pipeline. So let's connect that back for you, the listener. As someone maybe looking to make informed decisions about where your charitable giving goes, how does understanding this donation pipeline concept really affect your approach?
Yeah.
What's the actual tangible impact when money gets funneled for personal gain instead of the supposed cause?
Well, the tangible impact is pretty stark. Your good intentions, your hard-earned money, it's essentially wasted. Instead of actually contributing to real progress, like, maybe fixing that doorknob, let alone building an entire school, your funds are directly fueling someone else's personal lifestyle. Their luxuries like hotel points, flights, whatever it is.
With zero community benefit.
Zero real community benefit. And this isn't just about the financial loss, which is bad enough. It also really erodes trust. It erodes trust in legitimate charitable organizations, ultimately making it harder for the truly deserving causes out there to get the funds they actually need.
That's a really important point.
Yeah. So the ultimate nugget here is a donation pipeline prioritizes the fundraiser's personal gain over the stated mission, and the result is usually zero tangible community impact. It just siphons goodwill and resources.
Okay, so just to recap our deep dive into the invisible school and its lessons, we've pulled out some really crucial learnings about how to potentially identify these kinds of fundraising fantasies. We've seen the exploitation of trust.
Definitely. The blatant signs of financial mismanagement, the shoebox.
Right, the constant illusion of progress with nothing to show for it, and that consistent use of deflection and gaslighting tactics.
And through it all, those characters of Brother Receipts and Kid Genius are just so vital, aren't they? Their persistence, their skepticism, their demand for actual transparency and accountability. Even when Umoja just dismisses them, Their actions are what ultimately expose the truth in the narrative.
Yeah, their questions, even though they get ignored or shouted down by Dr. Umoja, are actually crucial models for us, for our own critical thinking when we encounter these situations.
Absolutely. So the encouragement here is really be a bit like Kid Genius or Brother Receipts. Ask those precise questions. Look for actual proof, for evidence. Don't just be swayed by charisma or a big booming voice, especially when people are asking for money. Look beyond the performance for tangible facts, for verifiable details.
Yeah, look for the receipts, literally and figuratively.
Exactly. And maybe here's a final provocative thought for you to sort of mull over after this.
Hmm.
We live in a world that's full of big ideas, right? And lots of compelling stories. How can you personally get better at distinguishing between an inspiring vision that genuinely aims to make a difference and a cleverly constructed fundraising fantasy that's really designed mostly for someone else's personal gain?
That's the core challenge.
It is, what tangible actions can you take day to day when you're considering supporting something to feel more confident that your contributions will truly make the difference you intend them to?